Models of communication are conceptual models used to explain the human communication process. The first major model for communication was developed in 1948 by Claude Shannon and published with an introduction by Warren Weaver for Bell Laboratories. Following the basic concept, communication is the process of sending and receiving messages or transferring information from a sender to a receiver. Claude Shannon and Warren Weaver were engineers who worked for Bell Telephone Labs in the United States. Their goal was to ensure that telephone cables and radio waves worked at maximum efficiency. Therefore, they developed the Shannon-Weaver model, which expanded a mathematical theory of communication. The Shannon-Weaver model, developed in 1949, is referred to as the mother of all models and is widely accepted as a main initial model for communication studies. The Shannon-Weaver model was designed to mirror the functioning of radio and telephone technology. The initial model consisted of 4 primary parts: sender, message, channel, and receiver. The mathematicians Claude Shannon and Warren Weaver structured this model on the basis of the following elements: an information source, which produces a message; a transmitter, which encodes the message into signals; a channel, for which signals are adapted for transmission; a receiver, which reconstructs the encoded message from a sequence of received signals and decodes it; an information destination, which processes the message. We can see and hear the influence of Aristotle and his Aristotle's model of communication. He proposed a model before 300 BC who found the importance of audience role in communication chain in his communication model. This model is more focused on public speaking than interpersonal communication. Aristotle model of communication is formed with 5 basic elements: speaker, speech, occasion, audience, effect. Aristotle advises speakers to build speech for different audience on different time, occasion, and for different effects. Here's an example. Example: the teacher gave a speech to his students about the importance of studying before an exam. Speaker teacher. Speech about studying. Occasion exam. Audience students. Effect pass the exam. Shannon and Weaver expanded this concept that entails 3 levels of problems for communication. The technical problem: how accurately can the message be transmitted? The semantic problem: how precisely is the meaning conveyed? The effectiveness problem: how effectively does the received meaning affect behavior? This mathematical or linear model has been used and modified by several linguists. In 1967, Frank Dance has proposed the communication model called Dance's helix model for a better communication process. The name helical comes from helix, which means an object having a 3-dimensional shape like wound uniformly around a cylinder or cone. He shows communication as a dynamic and nonlinear process. As like helix, the communication process starts very slowly and defines small circle only. The communicators shared information only with a small portion of themselves to their relationships. Let's have an example. When a child is born, the only means of communication for him is crying. He cries for everything like hunger, pain. As the child grows, the means of communication become wider and broader. He learns to make noises, then he learns a language to obtain attention and to fulfill his needs. The communication evolves in the beginning in some simple forms, then the same process of communication functions and develops based on past activities. As adults, we can use the communication like an helix, with a simpler or more complex sentences. As a helix, the process of communication, in this case, started as crying and later it developed into a complex and compound means.